Kim carefully tried to open it slowly. Hearing the commotion, the culprit arrived but was unable to get past Kim. She managed to open the door just in time. Though there was a chain securing the door from the outside, preventing it from opening fully, Kim was slim enough to slip through to the other side, while the culprit got trapped. Kim then hurried to her car and called her mother, asking her to wait. However, as Kim glanced back, she saw the culprit sitting in the back seat, knife in hand. When the culprit demanded that Kim drive, she crashed the car straight into a wall. As soon as the opportunity arose, Kim fled the scene. But upon reaching her mother, she pressed the alarm button on the roadside. Both of them then waited for the police. Meanwhile, the culprit escaped in his van, where he hid Choi and changed into a disguise, transforming himself into a businessman. He approached Kim and her mother, who failed to recognize him due to his mask and hat. Sheik said he was searching for his sister, so Kim decided to take him to a dark alley. But just as they were heading that way, the police showed up. The officers arrived and found the street completely empty, with no sign of anyone around. Kim told them that the security cameras would provide the full story, but the parking lot guard explained that some kids had turned off the cameras. Now, with no video evidence to rely on, all three of them had to file a report to explain what had happened. In the elevator on the way to the station, the culprit kept staring at Kim and her mother after noticing the weapons in his bag. Kim's mother became a bit suspicious of his behavior. However, Sheik then showed his phone and said he had received a message from his sister, confirming that she was now safe and well. After some time, Kim provided her statement, but without identifying the dead body or the killer, the police were at a loss for what to do next. Meanwhile, a disturbed old man began shouting at the accused, who responded with a quiet insult. This led to the old man attacking the accused in a fit of rage. During their struggle, the accused's white phone fell to the ground, and Kim's mother quickly picked it up. Then the policeman dragged the old man away, and the convict retrieved his phone and began watching Kim's statement. Using this as an excuse, he called Kim and asked her to remember the address of her house. Kim's mother then pointed out that this man had two phones. While the culprit was looking at the weapons in his bag, Jung arrived with a policeman and claimed that his sister was missing. The officer asked Jung to show Choi's photo to the others. The convict lied, saying he hadn't seen Choi, but Kim immediately recognized her and asked Jung to read her statement. Suddenly, the crazy old man burst back inside. Right away, the police took him outside. Seeing this chance, the convict threatened Kim's mother. He said that if she moved or tried anything, he would kill Kim. The convict then showed her the weapons he had in his bag and started moving toward Kim with a knife. Kim's mother quickly raised the alarm, which drew attention. At that moment, Jung turned around and grabbed the convict's knife. A fight broke out between them, and Kim ran with her mother to call the police. During the commotion, the convict said that he had attacked Choi, which made Jung extremely angry. In his rage, Jung beat the convict badly. Just as Jung was about to kill the culprit, the police arrived on the scene. The culprit immediately started pretending that Jung was trying to kill him. The situation became chaotic, and in the confusion, the police ended up arresting Jung. The culprit then left, but Kim and her mother stayed behind with Jung. When the police reviewed the CCTV footage, they saw that Kim, her mother, and Jung were telling the truth. Realizing this, the police allowed Kim and her mother to go home, and Jung resumed his search for his sister. In their house, there were some lights that would blink with even the slightest movement. After a while, someone suddenly knocked on the door, which startled Kim's mother. It turned out to be her friend, who had come to collect her luggage. Kim's mother and her friend went downstairs with the luggage. Meanwhile, the culprit sneaked inside and disabled the sensor outside. When Kim saw the sensor light up inside, she realized that someone had entered the house. She quickly became alert. To confuse her, the culprits rang an alarm clock, making Kim think that the sensor had gone off because of the alarm. Later, while Kim was in her room, the culprit turned off all the sensors outside. While Sheik picked up an axe and prepared to attack. Kim then noticed that a toy was shaking, but the sensor wasn't activated, which made her realize something was wrong. At that very moment, the culprit attacked her. Kim managed to turn around just in time and ran to another room, where she pushed a dresser against the door. She sent a message to Jung saying that the killer was here and then messaged her mother. Her mother then claimed she had already come inside. Kim quickly started moving the dresser to save her mother, but she became suspicious after reading her mother's messages. The spelling was too perfect, and she realized that the messages must have been sent by the culprit. She stopped what she was doing and became more cautious. Now the culprit began breaking down Kim's door, so she quickly jumped out of the window and ran away. The killer chased her, but Jung arrived and started pursuing the culprit as well. The culprit was about to attack Kim when Jung showed up. He then threatened that if he was killed, Jung would never find his sister. Dashik sent Jung a location and added more details about his sister. Jung, feeling urgent, apologized to Kim and rushed to the location to rescue his sister. However, the location turned out to be Kim's house. Which was a lie because no one was there. The culprit called Jung and said he made a big mistake by not saving Kim. Meanwhile, Kim threw dust in his eyes and ran away again. When she reached the van, Choi got out and began asking for help. Jung and Kim's mother arrived in search of Kim, but they found no one. Choi stayed put because she heard the culprit approaching. Kim then asked Choi to call Jung and confronted him with a knife, trying to buy time for Jung to arrive. As soon as the culprit started chasing Kim, she pressed the alarm and ran away once more. Here, Choi called Jung, who took her to the hospital by ambulance. Choi explained the situation to Jung and Kim's mother, telling them the way to find Kim and asking them to save her. Meanwhile, Kim had run into the market and tried to ask people for help, but since she couldn't speak, no one paid her any attention. As the culprit got closer, Kim pulled out her knife and asked someone to call the police. Despite her pleas, the culprit started claiming that Kim was his sister and that she was mentally unwell. Seeing this, Kim ran away, but eventually, the police caught her and handed her over to the culprit, believing his story about her being his sister. The culprit took Kim to a dark alley and was about to kill her when Jung arrived just in time and attacked the culprit. A fierce fight broke out between them, and Jung managed to knock out the culprit before going to Kim to calm her down. However, the culprit regained consciousness, fled, and went on to kill Kim's mother in the market. When the culprit encountered Kim's mother, he intended to make her his next victim. At that moment, Kim came running and stabbed the culprit, but the attack had no effect on him. The culprit laughed as Kim fell to the ground, realizing that the knife had struck her instead and knife was in the culprit's hand. Everyone believed that the convict had killed Kim, and soon after, the police arrived. Upon seeing the convict, the police shot him on the spot, and he died immediately. Many days later, Kim and her mother went for a walk on the beach, accompanied by Choi and Jung. They all took a picture together, feeling very happy because they had finally succeeded in defeating the serial killer. What did you think of the way the final confrontation between Kim and the culprit was resolved? Share your thoughts by commenting. Thanks for watching, keep loving movies, and stay tuned for more movie recaps right here on my channel. Take care.